Hey everyone, you're listening to another episode of Tutia Bruja. I'm Bex Carlos, and today's episode. So, I'm a podcast editor and producer in addition to host, and this is all kind of something I kind of stumbled into. Well, I went to school for radio production, and I did do radio for quite a number of years, and then after that, I was like, what do I do with these skills now that I don't work in this field? And I kind of just fell into podcasting, and I kind of started editing other people's shows, and it was just very like right place at the right time type thing. One day I'll tell like the full story. It's a cool story, but not today. But anywho, this is what I do, and it has allowed me to meet so many people and to be so blessed to be paid to edit conversations. And yeah, so on one of the trips that I took, I got to meet the girls from Spill the Chisme. And so this is a really fun episode I recorded with them. Here we go.
So one of the things I really love about the podcasting community is like how supportive everybody is for the most part. In my experience, when I had my old show explained to me, I met some people online. So today I'm really excited. I have the entire cast of Spill the Chisme, and this is the first time that I have 3 guests. So thank you for being a first, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us. I'm so excited.
Hey, yeah, thank you for having us for sure.
Yay!
I think we met and then like online, and then maybe within a year of us meeting online, we all met. Well, okay, take that back. Most of us met in person because I ended up in Dallas. Isn't the world just kind of wild?
Yes. I was thinking about that night.
That was so fun, though.
Yeah, I was thinking about that night the other day, and I was like, that was so much fun. And I'm pretty sure we popped off about Whataburger, which is very Texan of us.
But Whataburger is really good. So I think that was like the night before we went to try it. So we were like, what do we have to try?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we gave y'all a full-on review.
I'm so sad I missed out on that. I was out of town.
Well, to be fair, I think you had gotten married like the weekend before. So
Oh, yeah. I was like, where was I? Literally got married.
You were on your
My
honeymoon.
wedding. It was just my wedding. That's so funny.
After hearing voices for so long, it was really nice to put a face to those voices. So, could you guys go a little bit into how the show started?
So it pretty much started because me and Sam,
We're sisters, by the way.
yeah, we're sisters. We always wanted to do a podcast because we've always been like in love with listening to podcasts since like back in the day. And we were like, what can we do it on? And we both have this love for like pop culture. So we're like, well, we can do it on pop culture and like current events and what's going on in the world. And it can be from our perspective of being like Latin indigenous women in the world. And so that's why we did it. And since we sound the same and think the same, we brought in Rosa. She's basically like one of our sisters. And we were like, we need a third person. And it just worked so well. And so now here we are.
Yeah, and we like wanted to do it for so long before we actually started the podcast. And then we finally were like, we need to do it. It needs to happen. And we finally just dove into it. It's scary to put yourself out there, but in the end, I'm glad we did it. It's been so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, engaging with people you don't even know, like, especially just meeting you too, Bex. And then you coming to town and having that outing. It was just a good experience all around, and all because of the podcast. So meeting new people has been a great experience of it.
I think people forget, because I mean, I know that there's a lot of people who do this like professionally, and that's awesome. But I also think that there's something to say about like just the opportunities and the purpose that you get from even just doing it as a hobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And we always say it's like our outlet. And of course, one day if we were to only do the podcast, that would be like goals.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, it's been amazing to just have an outlet, especially during this time, during like quarantine life. It's been awesome to just have that moment like once a week to gather with your friends and like with my sister and just shoot the shit.
Yeah, having an outlet for that is definitely important. quarantine life has taught us that like we are so connected that, you know, when the world kind of stops, we just become very isolated. For a lot of people, it was really hard to adjust because that human interaction is so important.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's still so hard. It's like 7 months later, and we're still in the same situation we were in March.
Yeah.
Because of that is why we're not really going to have like a normal Halloween this year, which makes me so upset because Halloween's my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
We love Halloween. We're just some spooky girls.
Because I've still been going out, I've been limiting it as much as I can. A Halloween store is just something I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah.
100%.
If you do one thing, it's that.
I feel like Halloween is going to be the event where I risk the most exposure I've risked since March. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just have to have the feels. Like, we love Halloween in my neighborhood. The kids trick or treat like crazy. Like, we go through like 5 giant bags of candy so quick. And I'm so bummed to think if that's not going to happen. But I feel like the kids are still going to go out. And I don't know how
Also,
that's going to work.
Isn't Halloween on a weekend day?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I feel like I'm definitely going to actually probably kind of risk it and go out somewhere. I'll wear a mask. I'll wear a mask.
In my front yard, somehow a way to safely administer candy to kids.
Right.
I want them to have fun.
Yeah. And I was thinking, I was like, it's a Saturday. And how fun would it have been to like have your friends over, like give out candy to kids, but like have your friends over, like you said, just like hang out in the front yard. And I wonder if people are still going to do that.
I actually have been thinking about doing that. I'd
Mhm.
been thinking about like maybe setting up like a table
Mhm.
with hand sanitizer and paper towels next to it and a big bowl of candy, and like the kids
Yeah.
can grab what they like. You know, that way I could just keep checking on the bowl, and that way I could be like at a distance, like watching a horror movie.
Yes.
Halloween is not to be ruined.
Right. And that sounds awesome. I feel like I'm going to put candy out. I've done it so many years in a row, and it's like my favorite thing. But we'll see. I mean,
Put the hand sanitizer and be like, sanitize your hand, then stick it in the bowl.
and then just like burn the bowl after.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always felt like a special connection to Halloween because, like, I feel for a long time before I was officially like a bruja, I always felt like one. Do you guys think that you guys are brujas or witches? Do you feel like that connection?
I always felt like some sort of connection to it, speaking for me and Lauren, because our mom, she would always have like premonitions. She would have dreams of events that would happen. And like she's pretty much well known for it in our family, to the point like people are like, don't dream about me. Like, please don't dream about me. Because usually it was always like she predicted something bad was going to happen, or
Someone was pregnant.
or someone's pregnant. Yeah. So people would be like, please don't dream about me.
So I personally used to have dreams like that, like the premonitions, and like dream of someone dying or something. And one night I was like, I don't want this anymore. And since then it just like went away. So I think I like wished my powers away.
Yeah. And I remember like when that was happening intensely to Lauren, and she felt like it was almost night terrors. And my mom was like, if you can't handle it, you can ask for it to be taken away. Because again, like my mom dealt with it and still deals with it. So in that sense, I definitely feel like there's connection. Like, you know, I have a very strong intuition, and I'll have dreams sometimes too. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely something within me, and definitely Lauren for sure. And I've always been curious about it. I've always like halfway looked into it, visited stores and stuff like that. And I'm listening to your podcast and listening to everybody's stories. I'm like, I really want to get into it more. And even if I don't like fully dive into it, just learn about it a little more, because I definitely feel like my family, like my mom and my sisters, like we all share this premonition sense, or like we get visions. So I definitely feel some type of connection to it.
Yeah, I'm curious about it. I guess I've never really thought too much about it until recently. But I've always known, I mean, I've known Sam and Lauren for a very long time. And I guess I always would just listen to how they would talk about it. And I remember hearing, your mom, like you to stop talking about your mom and how she would have those dreams and stuff. And they wouldn't want her to dream about them. So I guess I just focused on y'all in that sense instead of myself, to be honest, or anyone else that would talk about it. I just never thought about it for myself.
I also feel like Rosa, well, I also want to say like all three of us went to a Catholic school. That's how I met Rosa. That's how we met her. And we like went to Catholic school our whole life. And Rosa's family was very religious. And I feel like I always got a sense of like Rosa having some type of like healing powers, because anytime like one of our friends is like, I think I have ojo, like I think I need the egg, I'm always like, go to Rosa. Go to Rosa. She can do it for us. Or if someone's like, I got a new car and I want it to be blessed and I want like protection, we're always like, Rosa should do it. I just feel like she hones that energy within her. So that's the type of vibes I get from you, Rosa. She's like our like protection / healer person in our group that we're like, just go to her. Yeah.
That makes sense. Aw.
I like that. I like that a lot. Well, one thing I would recommend that is like if you want to get kind of more into it, I always suggest like candle magic, because it's, lighting specific candles for things you're trying to attract in your life, whether that's like just joy, whether it's prosperity. I feel like a lot of the colors are self-explanatory. Green is for money, yellow is for joy, white is for like balance, black is good for removing toxicity. They're red is for love. Like a lot of them, you can kind of make sense of it yourself.
Taking a quick pause from the episode. So I really love that Melissa is doing tarot readings to raise funds for Raices. If that's something that's important to you, botanicas that really care about making a difference, please check her out. Her information's in the show notes. She'll be doing that to raise funds. And if you're not familiar with Raices, it's an organization that helps pay the bonds for adults who have been held by ICE and gets legal counsel for the children. So please check her out, Melissa at Temperance Home and Bar. Let's get back into the episode.
Another thing I would recommend is tarot. Like tarot's been like a huge thing for me. I always preach about tarot. And I kind of want to give you all a reading before we end this conversation. So I don't know who'd like to go first, but I'm going to start shuffling the cards. Who wants to try?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I'll go first.
Okay, cool. Close your eyes. Take about 20 to 30 seconds to just kind of like focus on your breath, breathing in as deeply as you can and out as deeply as you can, and continue doing that. Whenever you feel ready, tell me to stop, and I will pull the first card from the top.
Okay, stop.
Okay, so we pull the 5 of Cups. So if right now in your life there's something that's kind of making you feel like overwhelmingly disappointed, like you're just dealing with the grief of something, like that could be maybe as simple as like maybe you had some plans for around this time that like are not going to work out, or it could be something a lot deeper that you're dealing with. Just remember that right now I think everybody's timeline is kind of messed up. COVID threw a curveball into everybody's life, and I think the most important thing to remember is that like there is a thing as divine timing. And I think that sometimes, being from like the group of people who, kind of grew up with the internet and have been able to have instant gratification almost their whole life, we are finally being put into a place where we have to learn the lessons that we have to be patient. So,
Wow.
Nice.
I love that. I love that. That just like gives so much direction, honestly, like what you just said. I love that so much.
good. I'm glad. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Okay. Same deal. Close your eyes and kind of just breathe in as deeply as you can and breathe out as deeply as you can. Just keep doing that as long as it feels right. Whenever you feel ready, just say stop.
Okay.
Okay, you have the moon reversed. Okay, so unlike the cups like suit, This is part of the major arcana. So this is typically having to do with a lot of like your life journey or just like a major enlightenment that you really need about your life. So if you're feeling like there's something limiting you, like maybe you're afraid of something or maybe you talk yourself out of something all the time, maybe start to like think about why you have that feeling or why maybe you feel like there's something about yourself that you can't do or you have to talk yourself out of that. Sometimes it comes from like repressing something, like sometimes, and it could be as simple as like, you know, maybe when you were younger, like you asked your mom or your dad for something and they were like, hey, I'm busy right now, can you wait a second? And you internalize that as like, well, maybe I'm not supposed to have the things that I want. Sometimes it's as simple as that, you know what I mean? Like something in your life was said to you that really kind of made you feel a specific way, and sometimes it takes like really thinking about that and having like a hard look and like why do I feel this way, or why is this a constant conversation I have with myself? I think that that can kind of shed some light on maybe something that's limiting you that you're not even like fully aware of.
Oh, no, that helps. Weird. That's weird. Sorry, that's really weird because it's like accurate with life right now, with my life specifically.
See, it's one of those things that there isn't a science to, but like it's really impressive sometimes how the cards work. All right, it's your turn.
Rosa.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, same deal. Close your eyes, take about 20 to 30 seconds to focus on your breath, breathing in as deeply as you can and out as deeply as you can. And then let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, so you also got a major arcana card. You got the Emperor, which is interesting because I feel like this kind of resonates with what they were saying about you earlier about how like you're kind of like whenever there's something off or like there's some sort of healing that needs to be done, that you're the person to seek out. Because I feel like you have like something within yourself that makes you very aware of how to help people. It might just be sometimes out of the desire of wanting to help others, we're able to figure out stuff within ourselves. So just focus on that truth and like where that sense of like wanting to be a guardian or like a protector comes from, because I think it's going to help you find your like inner truth, really kind of makes what your purpose is. And I think that, you know, you might have been in a spot where it's been kind of hard to connect the dots at times. So I think that that intense like emperor energy is something that might be missing.
I can put it in a place.
Nice.
That kind of tugged on my heartstrings.
Right? I was like, I'm feeling a little emotional here.
Right?
I was like, I need to make a phone call after this.
Literally, right after you finished mine, my phone sent me a notification and it was like, your fertility window is in this many days. And I was like, what the fuck? Because you're like timing, divine timing. I'm like, this is really weird.
Oh shit, that is weird.
Like literally right when you were done, I was like, no, this is not the divine time for that.
Yes, it is, Sam. Yes, it is.
I'm gonna go with no.
Oh my god, that's so funny. That's odd. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's so weird. My phone vibrated. I was like, damn it. And then I was like, wait, what?
I love it. I love it. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Where can we find you, support you, keep up with the show? Or, you know, if you have anything going on that you would like to tell people about, please share.
You can find us wherever you find podcasts. We're Spill the Chisme. And like Lauren said earlier, we cover anything from like pop culture, whatever's happening in the world, whatever we're dealing with. And it's just like a discussion between friends. So you can find us wherever there's podcasts. We're on all social media at Spill the Chisme. And we have a website, spillthechisme.com. So check it out. Y'all have anything else to add?
No, I'm just glad that you invited us on this podcast.
Yeah.
I listened to it and it's so insightful.
Yes.
And listen, y'all, if a train wreck like me can heal themselves and figure it out, I'm like, there's hope for all of us.
No, I'm ready to start a whole journey after this.
Oh, yeah.
But also just like every time I listen to your episodes, I'm like so insightful, so ready to just start my own journey and hone in on like what we were talking about earlier, like our powers we have or whatever. And I'm excited, and I loved this podcast. I love doing it. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you. It's always a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so glad you got here. So thank you for being in the space.
Of course.
Yay.
So all the information to listen and support all of the gals from Spill the Chisme is in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. To support the podcast, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Tutia Bruja, and you can follow me at Bexby Caston. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. Bye.
Mm.